So I visited Occupy Wall Street, the Occupy LA tonight. It's November 26th. Right now it is 1:03. Went there for a little bit with some friends. I originally planned to talk to some people while I was down there. But while we were there, we just walked around, observed, took pictures of some of the signs. I think one of the most interesting signs that I saw, poignant signs that I saw, was one that posed the question, why are there more homeless veterans in this country than rich people? That was pretty deep. um, well, according to all reports, the Occupy LA protests need to vacate by tomorrow or by today. Less than just 23 hours away now. Failure to evacuate or to leave will result in the police, LAPD, possibly, we'll see, might see some sheriffs up in there. The interesting thing about Occupy LA right now is that on the national front, even though it's said for the most part that there is no leadership, there is some form of structural communication. I guess that's the right way, as opposed to leadership, that has tossed around the idea of transporting the Occupy Wall Street epicenter, which right now is Zuccotti Park, to Los Angeles, specifically because of the weather that's going to be hitting New York during the winter. And the reality that, or the probability, or the difficulty of being able to maintain a movement when you have restrictions like, well, when they're abiding, I want to point this out too, in the process, I like this, in the process of them revolting the Occupy movement, which I strongly support, I want to point out, because of, in the midst of their revolt against the system that they feel is unjust, they find themselves, according to their own interpretation, in a perplexing situation in which the courts said they could not use tents and camping gear in Zuccotti Park. Now they find themselves, according to themselves, they find themselves in a tough situation on how they're going to maintain the protest throughout winter in New York without tents and camping gear. What I find interesting is that that they took it to court. I think this says a lot about the movement and the level of commitment it has to the revolution it is trying to come up with a vision for. So yeah, they're following the rules, and because they're following the rules, it's making their protest more difficult. But anyways, in the midst of that difficulty, one of the ideas that came up was making Los Angeles the epicenter, if there could be such an epicenter. But they feel it could change. They could change the no epicenter. They could see that as a symbolic movement of kind of dispersing it, pollinating. Um, or they could see it significant of there being some sort of capital. Now, my theory is the reaction is going to be dependent on the results of the eviction that is due technically in 23 hours, but I'm going to say any minute now. So, following that course towards confrontation between Occupy LA and police, we'll see. If the Occupy LA movement survives, I think that through the what I would consider the indie news, like Democracy Now! And Anti-War Radio, KPFK, maybe Mother Jones, RT, Russia Today, possibly. I think The Guardian, they're following it pretty good, and a variety of other non-U.S. mainstream media will begin to kind of get swept up themselves in promoting the idea of Los Angeles, the new epicenter, because I think they need an epicenter. So it'll probably be the biggest fight, if it's a fight, they choose to make it a fight, would be preventing Los Angeles from becoming the epicenter if the Occupy LA protesters produce some kind of victorious outcome that's undisputably their victory, something that the police can't, the police and the political system, the social structure itself can't argue in favor for the police winning it. If the Occupy LA have it locked down like that, I'm confident that the blogosphere will go off with Occupy Wall Street has moved to Los Angeles. And I'm sure that the bigger indie news, which would be like RT, Russia Today, The Guardian, and that's pretty much it. The Huffington Post, that kind of thing. That they'll jump on the bandwagon, and it'll become like a global announcement on a PA system. And then the question will be, now that Occupy LA has the ball, what are they going to do with it? So, we're coming up with Martin Luther King Day. It's going to be Martin Luther King 2012. I'd like to see preparation going into celebrating Occupy Martin Luther King Day parade, and make that an immense, humongous celebration, and really take that as an opportunity to delve deeply into the speeches, sermons, and writings of Dr. Martin Luther King, in hopes of connecting the part of us that he used in himself that we're having a little difficulty tapping into. So that's the gist of it. That's where we stand right now. And I'm going to be back at Occupy Wall Street tomorrow around 4 o'clock with my friends. And maybe I'll pop me some interviews. And for the meantime, I'm going to be signing off. I really appreciate your time. And I hope you appreciate my effort. Thanks.